Loyalty is a powerful tool. Once someone's loyalty is gained, it is a hard thing to break. This truth, in the wrong hands, can be used as a weapon. The wrong person could use their corruption to gain loyalty, then use those loyal to do their bidding. Marika had Mesmer's loyalty, and she used him to destroy. Then she abandoned him. Yet, he stayed loyal. Morgott was locked away in a sewer as a jail for the crime of being born an omen, abandoned by his parents. Yet, he stayed loyal. Brani the Witch had Blythe the Hound's loyalty, and she used him to make her a god. Then, she abandoned him. Yet, he stayed loyal. Loyalty can lead one to do things they wouldn't normally do. It is a powerful feeling that is hard to break, even when it makes no sense to keep it. This can lead to many outcomes, including hurting those they care for. I returned to the base of the storehouse where I saw an elevator on a path to the left. I follow the path and take the elevator down. The elevator comes to a stop in a stone hallway. I follow this hallway, fighting walking meat dumplings along the way. I find a room full of jars, both empty and filled with walking flesh sacks. I make my way through this room and back outside. This leads to a bridge with a large set of closed doors. A small door sits to the right of it. I enter through the door, call Torrent, who returns to me, and begin to ride across this bridge. As I ride, rain starts to fall from the sky, but the rain is red and it burns. Someone nearby is summoning a flame like Mesmer's to call down fire rain and using the length of the bridge as their defense to stop those who may approach. We ride across the bridge, dodging the fire rain. As we near the end, I see a figure covered in red. I jump off of Torrent and slay the fire mage. The fire rain stops and I continue onwards. I follow a hallway and up a flight of stairs. This leads to a wooden elevator that I ride up. It comes to a stop in a hallway with a view to a white sky outside. I exit the hall to see a white fog covering the landscape, only revealing the silhouettes of ruins overgrown with nature strewn across the path forward. In the distance, I can see the shadow ruins that sit at the top of the Divine Theater where I fought the Dancing Lion. The tree that seals the ruins must be here somewhere. In the distance, I can see a church with a steeple poking into the sky. It seems like the only strong landmark, so I decide to head that way. I traverse across grass paths with wooden trunks overhead. This leads into stone tunnels that guide a path forward. Traversing through these, I have to fight shadowmen, scorpiders, and gravity as I run and fall through tunnels. After some travel, these tunnels open to a river overgrown with grass. In the distance, I see a cross from Miquella. I head to it and read the words inscribed. I abandon here the last of the flesh of my body. The last of the flesh of my body. Miquella has finally discarded his mortal flesh. There is nothing left tying him to mortality. He gave up his conscience and his flesh. Truly, he must be a different being altogether. I see a note on the ground and pick it up. It is a message from Leda that reads, "We've found the sealing tree just ahead, but if we are to burn it, we need proper kindling. That of Sir Mesmer." So, I was right. The tree is here, and it's close. I hop back on Torrent, and we ride across a bridge that stretches forward. This leads to another area covered in water and grass. I traverse across this land, and up a spirit spring that launches Torrent and I into the air. We land on a ledge that leads into another stone tunnel. This tunnel is filled with rot pools and servants of rot. We speed past these to prevent them from attacking. We follow the tunnels until we reach a stone elevator that leads up. At the top is another tunnel, and a stone staircase leads up. We ascend these steps and exit the tunnels to see that I have arrived at the church that was in the distance. The entrance is covered in a golden fog, and a golden summoning sign lays next to the door. I approach the sign to see I can summon Dane. I summon him, and we enter the fog gate together. We enter to see a giant purple centipede. At the back half of the centipede is a scorpion's tail. In the center of the body is the form of a woman with butterfly wings holding a budding spear. This creature is Romina, Saint of the Bud. During the time of his crusade, Mesmer the Impaler caused harm to thousands. In a place known as Rao, now known as the ruins of Rao, Mesmer came upon a church known as the Church of the Bud. It is implied that this place worshipped Scarlet Rot and the goddess of Rot. Mesmer burned this place to the ground, and as it burned, Romina, the lone survivor, held the church's divine bud in speechless silence. As she held it, she soothed it, and it became her blade. Sometime after the church was burned down, Romina discovered a divine, twisted element of unknown origins and weaved it into the Scarlet Rot to create a new power. This would corrupt her body to turn her into a combination of a centipede, scorpion, and a butterfly. Now, Romina protects her church from any who may invade this place of peace. Romina fights with insect-like strikes. The head of the centipede rears back and chomps its pincers, and then strikes forward in a chomp that pierces flesh. Romina's polearm lights up in a pink light as spectral pink butterflies float from the energy. She then leaps into the air and swipes as she closes the distance. Then follows up with 2 more slashes to slice skin to shreds. Romina flies into the air and curls in, tucking the centipede head and scorpion tail toward her like a ball. She then drops from the sky, landing with a smash as a swirl of corrupted scarlet rot spirals around her like a tornado to poison and crush any underneath. Romina wraps the head and tail around her body in a spiral like a towel twisted. Then releases, spinning and sending the head and tail swinging as she spins, creating a fan-like whipping motion to send bodies flying. She strikes out with the head, attacking a few times, before raising her spear and powering it with scarlet rot to combo with the centipede head, and a rotation of slashes and strikes to crush and cut foes, leaving them unable to recover. She tucks the head and tail in a circle. Then she rolls across the ground like a wheel, coming to a stop with a slash from her spear to stun and then cut enemies in half. She lashes out, with Centipede catching prey as it wraps around its victim. The tail then reaches back before striking down from above to crush and pierce enemies into a bloody pancake that leaks from a hole in the torso. She spins as she floats into the air, creating a swirling vortex of pink butterflies that spread outward from the source in an array of pink. The butterflies then stop in place, and Romina snaps her fingers. This leads to the butterflies turning to purple as they suck in energy before exploding into a purple pulse of rot that corrupts enemies' blood to poison foes. Romina's visage may be disturbing as she appears like a woman grafted to the bodies of a centipede and a scorpion. Yet, the corrupted scarlet rot flows in a beautiful pink aura. She wields this power in delicate yet powerful strikes. Every attack has purpose and is driven by thought. She is the protector of this place that she holds sacred, and we are invading it. She is not the one in the wrong. Unfortunately for her, she stands between me and Miquella. Romina spirals outwards like a fan, and I dodge underneath her attack. I follow up in a flurry of strikes, catching her in a rest. The strikes ring true, and she collapses to the ground as she turns to white dust. With Romina defeated, Dane leaves and I exit the building. Ahead of me lies a small hill that climbs up to where a tree sits. I walk up this hill and see that where the tree sits, there is a stone platform with stairs. I walk up the stairs and see that this platform houses a black tree in the middle, and behind it is the view of the Divine Dancing Lions Theater with the shadow ruins clinging to it. I approach the tree and release Mesmer's flame. I feel the power leave my body as the tree alights with a red blaze. It starts near the touch, but slowly climbs its way up the tree. When the tree is fully engulfed, sparks of red-hot ash start to float into the air. As the tree begins to crumble, the shadow on the ruins begins to burn away, revealing a vibrant gold light underneath. As the shadow fully disperses, the golden light hardens to become carved stone structures. Above me floats a massive, beautiful, towering city with spiraling columns stretched towards the heavens and fit for a god. A golden swirl of energy surrounds me, and I am transported away from the ruins of Rao. When I reappear in a swirl of golden energy, I find myself standing on a balcony made of stone. Ahead of me is a staircase that I begin to climb. At the top is a ledge that looks out to the surrounding land. I walk to it, and I look to see that I have been transported just across from the church and burned tree. That means that the swirl transported me straight to the ruins that were cleared of shadow. Perfect. For this is where Miquella is meant to be. I turn away from this ledge and head up a staircase forward. At the top, I can look up to see Enir Elim floating above me. The great stone city has massive columns that pierce the heavens below the city. These columns are carved with the shapes of thousands of bodies fighting to climb their way up and grasping onto each other to desperately find any way up. I turn away from the view to begin my ascent. On the path forward, I am met by a man in golden armor, with the visage of a bird as a helmet and talons as greaves. I strike him down and continue forward up stone steps. These steps stop in a circular room, and I continue through, exiting to climb more stone steps, but these are covered in sand. At the top, I enter a courtyard full of golden trees. Sand covers all of the floor, except the path forward. I cross the stone path to find this place filled with the Hornsens Inquisitors. I strike them down and continue up the path. Climbing steps and crossing a bridge, I come to an obstacle. I find a horned warrior worthy to take part in the Divine Dancing Lion ritual. He wears a small version of the lion effigy as proof of his worth. He uses the element of lightning as we fight. After a back and forth, I strike him down and continue the path up another set of stairs. More Hornsen Inquisitors guard this path, summoning golden spiral magic. I strike through them, not allowing anything to block my path. At the top of the stairs sits a large set of stone doors. I push them open and find a circular room with another one of Miquella's crosses standing in the middle. I approach the cross and read it to see inscribed is, "I abandon here all my fears." Miquella has finally removed the last piece to hold him back. He has decided no more fears. So I will do the same. I cast my fears here and leave them. I am ready to fight a true God and stop him from enslaving the world. A spiral staircase climbs upwards, and I ascend the steps. The stairs are broken, but on the wall sits an open window that leads to a rooftop. I jump out the window and begin to jump from roof to roof. Deathbirds sit on these roofs, and I strike them down on my way across. From a roof, I can jump back onto a stone balcony, and I do to find another Inquisitor that I strike down. I fight more Inquisitors as I climb stone steps, go through a small circular room, climb more steps, and continue onto another roof. On top of the roof ahead stands another of the divine dance's chosen. We begin our clash, and I discover that he uses the element of ice. After a struggle, I strike him down and continue forward. Jumping across more roofs, I find a window and jump through it to enter into the upper part of the broken staircase. I climb the stairs and come to the top where I find an Inquisitor standing on steps. Nearby is an elevator shaft where I notice the chains rising, indicating that the elevator is coming up. I quickly strike down the Inquisitor, in time to see that the elevator has stopped and another Inquisitor is on it. I strike them down. They continue up the steps outside and up more steps. These steps stop at a large curved bridge. On the other side is another of the chosen for the divine dance. I approach them, and we come to blows. This chosen uses the element of wind in their attacks, the strongest of the three. I struggle more, but manage to defeat them. I continue across the bridge, and up a staircase that leads to a circular room. I exit this room and climb a stone staircase. At the top, my heart sinks. Ahead is a room where the floor is completely covered in sand. A singular beacon of light shines down from above through a hole in the ceiling. The light shines down onto the center of the room, where a circular platform sits. And standing on this platform is Needle Knight Leda. Something feels off about this encounter. My mind is warning me of danger when a friend is near. But the reasoning feels obvious. Leda worships Miquella with all her heart. What did I think would happen when she found out I was heading for Miquella? I approach Leda, and she begins to speak.
That you might ascend to lordship. So I come to these lands to begin with. I suppose it must be what His Eminence, or perhaps the Erdtree, desired all along. The clashing of the favored lords. Such that one would prevail. So be it. If you insist upon facing Miquella the Kind, then I will run you through whoever you might be. Don't tarry now.
Leda disappears into a golden dust, and I am left standing alone in this circle. Leda's voice floods the room.
Don't you dare approach Miquella the Kind. Needle Knight Leda, Dryleaf Dane, and our allies will never allow this.
Freya walks through the door on the far end of the room and comes to a stop a few feet away in front of me, and announces,
I am the Redmane, Freya. The time has come.
My mind is torn in half as I understand. Leda, and all those who I traveled with that worship Miquella, will do anything in their power to stop me from slaying him. Despite everything we did together, none of that matters when it comes to their god. I don't know what to do. These are my friends. On one hand, they will kill me to stop me. But on the other, these were my friends. Freya rushes towards me. An image of Blythe with red eyes sprinting at me flashes in my mind, and my instincts kick in as I start to fight another friend.
I could not hope for a worthier foe. This is our moment. Let's make it something to remember.
Despite all I did to help her, by finding her the information needed to know the truth about Radahn, still, she sides with Miquella. She sees me as a worthy opponent and wants us to give it our all. Sacrifice for Miquella. Everyone must sacrifice for the gods. Freya fights like a skilled warrior trained in the art of war. But what else would you expect from a red mane? She is trained in tactics with blade and shield, using defense and strength to tear down armies. As we fight our ferocious fight, I see the Hornsent enter the same door that Freya entered. Desperation grips me, and I strike down Freya as the Hornsent runs up behind me. Freya's last words ring out as I turn and come to blows with the Hornsent.
You were fine. In your arms, truly a glorious battle. It was.
The Hornsent slashes at me with his twin blades as he attacks with an aggressive and merciless assault. Despite all I did to help him get his revenge on Mesmer for the crimes against his people, still he mistrusts and betrays me. He tells me,
"'Tis just as the woman said it would be. Lord of the Earth Tree, Lord of Marika, you two deserve to face the reckoning."
The Hornsent continues to fight me without a word, and as the battle rages, more enters the room. Sorrow grips my heart as I see the kindest soul is willing to fight me. And I strike down the Hornsent as I turn to more. The Hornsent falls to dust as he speaks his last words.
"Oh, Miquella, please, redeem our clan."
More lets his sorrows be known.
You and I, fighting. Tragedy this is.
He regrets that we had to come to blows, but doesn't seem to realize that this didn't need to happen. I told him that he should forgive Miquella, but keep moving towards a new future. Instead, he took that as evidence that he should protect him at any cost. Moore throws massive jars full of scarlet rot and wields a large shield that he uses to slowly slam at targets. With this shield and his armor combined, he is like a walking fortress. I sadly continue to pummel Moore as Dryleaf Dane enters the room. Dane begins to heal Moore as he enters without a word. I didn't know Dane very well, and we only fought one time, but back then, I overpowered him. Which is probably why he chose to fight using Moore as an aid. I continue to fight Moore as Dane starts to surround me and hit me from an unguarded side. Surrounded, I break formation to gain distance as Needle Knight Letta enters the room to assist them. She doesn't say a word, but I know her intentions. Moore and Dane begin to hurl jars and spells at range before gaining on me and closing the distance. I have no choice but to fight them together instead of separate. They begin to pummel me, knocking me back and forth in between Dane's kicks and Moore's shield. Moore speaks as he says,
Miquella the Kind will help us forget.
He already knows he's going to win, and is just going to erase the memory of our fight. What disgusting world without consequences does he want to live in? Leda joins the two, surrounding me from a third side and closing me in, then begins to speak.
I'm sorry for speaking to you as a compatriot when we stood before the withered arm. By way of apology, I will reveal the marrow of my sword, its needles that will stitch you into death.
Sorry? She's sorry that she thought we were comrades? We fought together multiple times. We were comrades. But she'll just erase the past for a false god. The tickle in my mind flares to a singeing heat as rage floods my veins. I push through their barrier to gain distance and then drop my defense, giving in to hatred and burst towards Moore. My foot collides with Moore's helmet, crushing the stone as he falls to the ground, dispersing into white dust.
Sad. Forever.
Sad forever, he says. I tried to give him happiness and freedom, but he betrayed me. I then slam my fists into Letta's helmet as Dane kicks me in the back, and Letta slashes with her sword. I let rage power my assault and crush the helmet as my fists imprints in the metal. Letta falls to the ground, turning to dust.
Kindly, Nicola, make the world a gentler place.
A gentler place. A gentler place? A gentler place. This is what you do for peace? Kill any that oppose you? I thought we were friends. But I was only ever a tool for you. Anything to make your Mikola a god. I turn my attention to Dane. He sprints towards me, and I kick him in the side of the head, sending him falling to the ground as he turns to dust. Finally, after all this time, Dane speaks, and all he has to say is he wants Mikola to be a god. My breathing is heavy and frenzied as I look down at myself covered in the blood of those I was naive enough to believe were my friends. After all this time, I still haven't learned. Time and time again, I am taught that there is no peace and happiness, and yet I fall for it every time. I look up and see the sand covered in splatters of blood from the fight, and the bodies of the ones who decided to kill me for a god. Freya, Hornsent, Moore, Dane, and Letta. All people I once called friends. All people who I helped. All people who betrayed me. All people I desperately struck down. And I collapsed to my knees. I killed them. I killed them all. They were so willing to kill me for Mikola. I helped them. All of them. Yet they betrayed me anyways. Freya, I fought alongside you. We were comrades in the jaws of the lion. I helped you discover Mikola's plans for Radahn. Betrayal. Hornsent, I fought alongside you. I fought alongside you to avenge your village against Messmer's flight. I proved I was on your side. Yet, betrayal. More. When Miquella abandoned you so he could become a god, you were so willing to give up. I encouraged you that life was worth continuing, and now you could have freedom. You chose life. And yet, betrayal. Dane, I knew nothing about you. But we let our fists speak the truth of our bond through our duel. I respected you. And you taught me this new way of fighting. Yet, betrayal. Leda, you guided me to the land of shadow, told me where to go through notes and to follow the crosses. I did everything you asked, and found that Miquella was becoming a monster. None of that mattered more than your infatuation with Miquella. So, betrayal. All of you betrayed me, and I had no choice. But you did it for the one who enslaved your minds. You did it for Miquella. This is Miquella's fault. Miquella, who left his body to ascend. Miquella, who left his heart behind, leaving Saint Trina at the bottom of a chasm. Miquella, who removed his fears so that he would move forward without hesitation. Miquella, who tossed aside his doubts so he would not regret anything and would move forward with whatever whim he comes across. Miquella, who made me kill my friends or be killed by them. Miquella. It's time, Miquella. It's time I teach you why the Tarnished deserve the throne. I walk up the steps ahead of me and walk onto an elevator. The elevator rises and comes to a stop in a room that looks out to another staircase. I exit the room to see the Shadow Erd tree to the right side of the stairs as I ascend. The stairs stretch ever upward as they spiral into the heavens. The stairs continue higher and higher until I come to a stop in front of a door covered in a golden fog. A grace sits here, so I sit to recover my strength and prepare for slaying a god. I stand and head for the doorway that stands in front of me. I am filled with anxiety and fear as I approach, and yet my rage burns through the emotions. I push through the golden fog and enter the divine gate front.
My loyal blade and champion of the festival. Both your deeds will ever be praised in song. Now, the vow will be honored, and my lord brother's soul will return, so that he may be my consort.
Miquella's whispers ring in my head as he speaks. Miquella says that Radahn will be forever sung about for his deeds. But now his soul is to be returned so that he may become Miquella's consort. At the end of this room stands a towering gateway that reaches into the heavens. The gateway is made from thousands of bodies climbing over each other, desperately climbing towards heaven. A split in the middle leaks a golden light that shines like a beacon down on a figure that stands in between the gate walls. This figure wears golden plates engraved with the visage of a lion. Red cloth drapes around the waist. The figure wears a helmet formed into the shape of a lion with a braided red mane coming out of the back. 2 swords are stabbed into the ground, one on each side of him. His golden eyes gleam as the earth begins to tremble. Purple gravity magic pulses from his hands and the blades tear out of the ground. He catches them, blades crossed, and he scrapes them against each other as he raises them into the air with a roar that sends out a shockwave of fearsome power that sends sand flying away in clouds. Before me stands Radahn, resurrected from death. This, however, is not the same Radahn I fought back in Caelid, where that one was just an animal. This one looks resolved and focused. Radahn has been brought back in a state from when he was young, before he fought Melania and became plagued with scarlet rot. This is Radahn from when he conquered the stars. This is Star Scourge Radahn, General of the Red Manes in his prime. Seeing Radahn again makes my blood boil. Remembering the fight along my comrades in the Radahn festival. It was a glorious fight, but Radahn was a beast. This power, overwhelming. Now, I face him alone, but he protects the one who manipulated my friends. Rage fills my eyes as a heat rises in my mind. I begin to walk forward, and Radahn crosses his arms in blades. He squats, then leaps into the air as he spirals like a top, purple energy swarming him as he flies towards me like a bullet. I dodge as he lands, fracturing the ground and sending rocks shooting up as spikes. I slash him with my spear, and he returns with a stab colliding with my face, then swiping to create a blood flame trail, an effect from the use of Mohg's body for his rebirth. I escape the explosion, and Radahn closes the distance to hit me with a downward strike. It collides, and I roll to avoid a follow-up, and he catches me with a side swipe as I exit the roll. He summons gravity onto his blades as he squats, stabbing them into the ground. He leaps into the air, tearing boulders from the earth that float around him in a circle. He swings his blades down from overhead, and the boulders fly towards me like homing missiles guided by gravity. I manage to avoid some, but am hit and sent flying to the ground. I stand up in time to see Radahn crossing his arms and leaping into another gravity cyclone. I manage to avoid the impact and shattered stone to retaliate with strikes of my own. He swipes with both blades from the side and follows with a downward slash, but I manage to avoid both swipes and continue my assault. He stabs forward and cuts me, but I am undeterred from my assault. I roll to avoid the following blood flame slash and continue the assault. Radahn slashes from overhead, striking me, following up with 2 swipes from the side, one blade chasing the other. The second blade catches me, but doesn't slow me down. He brings his blades down, and they crash into the ground. He pulls with force that tears chunks of stones from the earth in all directions. I avoid this and tear away at him with slashes. Radahn stumbles and falls to his knees.
Lord brother. At long last you are returned. Tarnished one. Aspiring lord of the old order. If you have known sin, if you grieve for this world, then yield the path forward to us. To I, Nicola, and my promised consort, Radahn.
Radahn breathes heavy as he struggles to catch his breath. His cape and hair start floating as his body starts to glow with a violent red aura. He drives his blades deeper into the ground as the rocks float around them. Radahn lifts his head to look me in the eyes with the determination of a berserker. The red aura starts to fade with a golden energy as a bright golden light illuminates the divine gate. A voice speaks, saying, "Lord brother, at last you are long returned," as a figure starts to emerge from the gate. They wear a white robe, and long golden hair streams down to the ground. Radahn begins to rise as the golden aura surrounds him. He stands towering above me as a menacing presence. The voice says, "Tarnished one, aspiring lord of the old order." The figure begins to wrap their arms around Radahn like a cape as they say, "If you have known sin, if you grieve this world, then yield the path forward to us." Radahn stands tall, and the figure clasps their two hands together, and long, golden hair stretches out to fasten themselves as a cape. Another hand lifts above their head toward the heavens as they say, "To I, Nicola, and my promised consort Radahn," revealing Nicola in the form that he has become. A translucent god made of light, with hair the length of Radahn's height, 3 arms as it appears a 4th arm is missing, and a crown rests on his head. My breath catches my lungs as I look upon this divine majesty. Nicola wants me to leave the path forward to him. To him. He who tore away flesh and gave up mortality for godhood. He who enchanted people's minds, forcing them to do his bidding. He who manipulated my friends into trying to kill me. He who defied the laws of nature to bring back the dead, forsaking the very soul he forced to do his bidding. Moog may have been an awful demigod, but if he was charmed by Nicola, then how much was him and how much was Nicola's doing? Is Radahn even able to choose his actions? No, I won't give in to a tyrant who would strip us of free will. What is living if you have no choices? Whether bad or good, this is not the way to make a better world. Not by keeping the same inhabitants and forcing them to do good. My lungs begin to pump furiously as rage takes away the fearful awe. No, the world needs a new start. I tighten my grip on my spear and bare my teeth as I go to war against a god. Radahn brings his blades up next to his head, and golden energy begins to blast out of his body in the form of images sculpted in his image. They slash one after the other, and finally he comes in with the same attack. The strike hits me, and a golden trail follows Radahn's path as golden lasers strike from the heavens above. I close the gap and strike Radahn as he strikes me back. Golden lasers barrage the ground behind me. I slash Radahn twice, and he leaps into the air, bringing his arms stretched out to his sides. Radahn comes down, wrapping his arms like a bear hug as I roll under his arms to avoid the grab. I manage 2 slashes, and Radahn returns with an uppercut. He follows with a side swipe that sends me flying across the ground. Radahn swings his blades as a tornado, allowing momentum to follow up slashes. Lasers follow these swipes, barraging the field. The Radahn I face now is nothing like the one I faced before. The brutal nature of his attacks has been blessed with a holy radiance that allows him to attack with godlike strikes. Each hit shows me how divine Miquella has truly become, and why Radahn was the consort chosen. Together, their power can make the very earth quake with every step. Their attacks leave me desperate, and I fight with every ounce of my being like a cornered animal, as I know this is most likely my death. I gasp for air, as the battle has been devastating. Radahn looks at me with calm, and he stretches his arms out straight to his sides. The golden circle lights around my feet and spreads outwards as Radahn begins to float into the air. The golden circle swirls, and I desperately sprint with all of my energy to escape this circle. The swirling stops, as light explodes from the center of the arena. The golden energy blinds the arena as it obliterates the earth where it impacted. Columns of light shoot from the ground and pillars of divine radiance. I somehow manage to escape the blast of the pillars. Radahn rushes me and begins a barrage of strikes that are chased by lasers. He finishes the barrage by leaping into the air and crashing down, swiping his blades out and sending lasers outward from him in a 360 barrage. Radahn continues his relentless assault as I do my best to get strikes in where I can. Radahn's attacks flow from one into the other, barely giving me the time needed to retaliate. Every strike is followed up by the godly powers of Miquella. Between the gravity, blood, and divine energy, my mind has become frenzied with fear, desperation, and rage. I find myself working on pure instinct and the need to survive. Me fighting God was more likely to kill me than let me seek the vengeance I so desperately need. Despite how hopeless everything is, I continue fighting because I need to continue fighting. I won't give up. I won't. For my fallen comrades, I won't let Miquella win. I refuse to let him be God. Broken and bloodied, I continue the fight. Radahn barrages me with sword strikes and lasers. I come out of the lasers with a strike across his body. I hit him with a few more slashes, and Radahn raises his blades glowing gold as he lifts a foot for a stomp. He brings his foot and blades down. But instead of an attack, he brings them to the ground. He begins to glow with bright gold energy, and he launches into the sky, leaving a golden streak chasing him. I am left in silence as I begin to look around in frenzied fear. I know this tactic. He did this the last time we fought. A laser comes from the sky and strikes the ground next to me like a falling star. A couple more follow suit until Radahn crashes from the sky like a meteor, exploding into golden energy as he makes contact. The explosion sends me flying and burns my flesh and soul, sending agony screaming through my veins. Adrenaline takes my body as it moves without my command. I stand up and stare at Radahn as a trail of dust climbs into the air behind him. He slashes his blade and golden energy shoots towards me as a slash. My body dodges and rushes towards Radahn. The battle rages on as my body moves on its own. I am still conscious, but it's like I am watching through the eyes of someone else in this battle. I see Radahn as he strikes at me, and I see my body avoiding an attack. But I have no say in what it does. The orange glaze covering my eyes seems to be the only thing keeping my body moving. I should be dead. I am no match for a god. Yet, my body moves, dodges, and attacks all on its own. No hits seem to stop it. It continues in a frenzied battle. This heat in the back of my mind has consumed me. All I feel is flame, and yet but I will be the one to end this fight. My consciousness will claim this kill. For my allies, for my friends, for me. My eyes sharpen with a snap as my consciousness regains control. I see Radahn lift his swords above his head, and they glow with golden energy. He rushes towards me, slashing his blades back and forth with lasers chasing the slashes. He finishes by jumping into the air and landing with a cross slash that sends lasers scattered out in all directions from him at the center. I manage to tank the hits, avoiding others, and retaliate with my spear. I slash Radahn and follow with another as he raises his leg for a stomp. His leg comes down and I slash it with a deep cut through the artery as he stumbles. Radahn falls to his knees and Miquella embraces him as they fall to white dust. My eyes flash white as I see a memory of Miquella.
Lord brother, I'm going to be a god. If we honor our part of the vow, promise me you'll be my consort. I'll make the world a gentler place.
Miquella, like Rani the Witch, was born as an Empyrean. This means he was chosen by the Two Fingers to succeed Queen Marika when her time passes. Miquella and his sister were born from Marika and Radahn. Due to this union, the two were born with afflictions. Where Malenia was born with the curse of scarlet rot, Miquella was born with the curse of perpetual youth, cursed to forever take on the form of a child. Miquella made a promise to his sister to try and cure their diseases. He worked tirelessly to keep this promise. Though Miquella was unable to find any way to cure them, he did find a way to temporarily slow the effects on his sister. He created unalloyed gold, which had the power to ward away the effects of outer gods. Malenia swore to be Miquella's blade and protect him forever. At some point, Miquella started watering a sapling with his own blood, in the hope that it would become a new Erd tree. This tree grew and became known as the Halig tree. Miquella made this hidden place a haven for all of those persecuted and unwanted in the lands between. Seeing the fates given to these poor creatures, Miquella decided to pursue godhood so that he could create a world of peace. For this to happen, Miquella would need a consort. For this, he chose his half-brother, General Radahn. Radahn agreed, but for unknown reasons. Miquella promised to resurrect Radahn as his consort. For this reason, Malenia went to Caelid, and the two clashed, devastating the land, but not killing Radahn. During this time, Miquella set his plan into action, enchanting his half-brother Mohg and forcing him to kidnap Miquella so that he could get to the Land of Shadow and have a worthy body with the power that could hold the might of Radahn. Miquella then went to the Land of Shadow, where he cast away every part of his body, heart, and fear, so that he could do what must be done to make the world a better place. His plan would have failed if not for fate guiding a Tarnished to slay a scarlet-ridden Radahn and an enchanted Moog. Fate then drove this Tarnished to the land of shadow, where they put an end to Miquella's plan. My vision clears and my mind pulses with pain. I feel the burn of frenzy lighting up my eyes as orange flame ejects from my sockets. My head throbs and the air around me pulses. Time seems to slow as my mind is swarming with questions that contradict each other. Maybe Miquella was truly doing what was best for the world. Did I make a mistake?
No. Miquella manipulated others to do his bidding, so that he could be a god and reign supreme over them, forcing them to be what he desired them to be. He even went so far as to let them die to make him a god.
But isn't that what Ranni did? Didn't Ranni use those closest to her to make her a god? Ranni, too, was chosen by the Two Fingers to become an Empyrean. She may have killed hers so that she could change fate. But didn't Miquella try to change fate? Their ideals seem so opposite.
But they coincide so well. Miquella used others and allowed them to die for him so that he could break from the old order to make a world where he is God and everyone was forced to be good with no free will. And he had a group who followed him like dogs. Ranni used others and allowed them to die for her so that she could break from the old order to leave the world in darkness, where she is God alone, except for whoever follows her like a dog.
They are opposites. And yet,
they are similar.
Which leaves me questioning. Have I been manipulated? Am I simply a reflection of Leda? I do as Ranni asks, and never question what I am told to do. Like a dog, I follow commands. Is a world without life any better than a world without free will? Visions flash in my head of those I lost on this journey. Rogier, Nefeli, Blythe, Iji, Yura, Raya, Freya, Hornsent, Moore, Dane, Leda, and soon, Melina. I see those who fight for power to manipulate the weak into creating gods.
Godric, Rykard, Morgott, Moog, Miquella, Marika, and soon, Ranni.
I see those who fought to save the ones they cared for and sacrificed themselves to do it. Like Midra, Yura, me. No more. No more. No more.
No more. I won't stand for this any longer. I won't allow Ranni to manipulate me the way Miquella manipulated others. This world has ruined all that I care for. Marika's bloodline has corrupted this world too much. It's not time for darkness. It's not time for enchantment. It's not time for an Elden Lord. No, it's